Hi friends. So in this video we will see why should we learn C++. Because many people will start to learn C++ and suddenly a doubt will come whether I should learn Java or C++ or C Sharp. So this video is for them mainly to explain why C++. So before that, a small intro on C++. There are three types of languages. One is machine language, two is assembly language, and the third is high level languages. So machine is when only the machine understands the numbers. Assembly is the language we learned in college when we use microcontroller like load, add, store functions. And high level languages are the ones we study now. Actually, nowadays people who are not studying this subject will not be aware of the first two languages. So this is how the hierarchy looks like. First there is the hardware, then is the machine language, and on top of that is the assembly language, and on top of that is the high level language, of which the high level languages like Fortran, C, Pascal, and on top of C is the object oriented and visual languages. So similarly there are different paradigms, but this is just for one example purpose. Now, if you look at this, there would be a lot of functional languages as well. Concurrent programming would have a lot of languages. So, a lot of interesting languages or object-based languages are being developed. So, for us, amongst all these, we are going to focus on the object-oriented languages. So, we saw this earlier as well, the extension of C, the different classes. Now, let us see what are the differences between C++ and Java. So in C, there are only simple primitive types. Control structures are the same. The arithmetic expressions are also the same. Any language we use, it will be the same and not much difference. So in both, we have strings. In Java, we have strings, which is a library, and here it is an inbuilt data type. Arrays are there in both. Classes are also there in both, and main is also there in both. So what is the main difference between Java and C++ is that Java has an automatic garbage collection and C++ does not. So basically garbage collection is when you allocate memory, who deletes, there will be a problem. Similarly in C++ there is something known as operator overloading, whereas in Java it's not. In C++ we have function. The same thing is called method in Java. A few more topics in C++ is classes can be avoided, which means you can write code without classes. In Java, this is not possible. In C, there are input-output functions, whereas in Java, there are no standards. But to the equivalent of standard input-outputs, there are libraries where you can plug and start doing. Another important issue in Java and C++ is the compiling method is different in both in C++. C++ has only one step after compiling, and output comes, whereas in Java one part will be interpreted and the other part will be compiled. So now the confusion comes in what you would like to choose. It's just like wondering whether to choose a car or a bike. C++ I would say is the equivalent of a bike because you can go however you want, but balance is the issue. In case you fall, you have to take care. However, in the car, you have the stability, but you will face a difficulty in flexibility. So there is a sophistication in Java. The sophistication is in itself a limitation in Java. So ideally, when I also started learning, I started with C++. Since I knew C++ basic, I was able to grasp Java easily. But there is no condition like only if I study C++, I can study Java. Like example, there are people who don't drive a bike, but they are really good in driving car. So it all boils down to the basics like changing the gear and releasing the clutch on time, and you have to see ahead how much speed we have to go, so on and so forth. So if we have these basic judgments, you can drive any vehicle. It's just like that. So if you have a basic programming sense, an idea towards object orientation, then you will be comfortable with any language. I'm talking about Java right now. So this is applicable for C Sharp as well. But again, it's like a competitive language. Java and C Sharp. If you observe, it's like what can you say? Two different variants of cars, like BMW and Benz. Both are different feature sets, but the purpose and goal is one. to simplify life and increase business efficiency. Whereas C++, you have to work a lot. And when you work is when you will understand the pleasure of the driving things. Now, coming to the usual complaints of users, it's like it's not purely a high level language. Once we see the memory management, there are people who run away. Some people are just by listening that it's tough, they leave. But it's actually not that tough. It was designed for ancient language purpose, and the existing scalable systems are still running on C++. So now a question that would arise is, I don't like C. Then why should I like C++? So it's good to learn C++ because knowing to ride a bicycle before a bike is always useful. Some people would directly get a car and proceed, but somewhere along the line, without the balance, this would be useful. So just like my usual examples, Hello World. So IO Steam Studio .ho or import.io is the equivalent issue. Using namespace, we'll see along. So printf, we write C out and give the angular basis in the direction, and the return value is standard. So these are the reasons on why you should or should not attend C++ classes. Okay, so thank you friends. Bye.